It's a Guild Starfire. Look at that. This will be quite an in-depth review. We'll go on a bit. I'll talk a bit, a lot. Some of it will be true. Thought, ooh, I don't know about this. And then I played it for 5 minutes, tuned it up, and I was into it. You can see I was getting into it. That says it all. That says it all. That says I enjoyed playing this guitar and I enjoyed the sounds that were coming out of it. You know, look, £430. It's not to laugh, eh? Hello everyone, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So today we're looking at an affordable Guild. It's a Guild Starfire, as you probably saw in the thumbnail. Yeah, Guild Starfire 1, which means, yeah, it's the entry level. It's their Indonesian made range. And this one is listed on the Guild website at $549, and I paid £430 here in the UK. So properly affordable alternative to the ubiquitous Gibson 335. I think you'll agree, which is one of the reasons I've got this, because obviously we're in the middle of making a series. Well, I call it a series. We've made one film suggesting what rivals to the Gibson ES335 might be. And we're about to make two. Well, we are now that I've got another one to compare alongside the 335 with the Squier Starcaster and the Gretsch G something or other that we've reviewed a while back now. So we've been waiting to get the third rival in the house so that we can make part two of that. So here it is. So just a little pre-warning here. This will be quite an in-depth review. We'll go on a bit. I'll talk a bit, a lot. Some of it will be true. You might want to fact check some of it if it's important to you. But yeah, I'll do my best. So, but I'll take it apart today. We'll measure everything. We'll weigh it all up and everything, and we'll poke it all around. So it'll go on for a bit. If you're in a hurry, all the timestamps are in the description box, so you can easily skip forward to something that's of specific interest to you, or just hear what it sounds like or whatever. Yeah, it's all there, okay? If you've got a little bit of time on your hands, come along for the ride and I shall enjoy your company. Let's get stuck in. Okay, here we go. So basic construction. This, I'm told, has a mahogany top, back and sides, and it's got a mahogany centre block in it. It's also got a mahogany neck, and that's what they call a thin U profile, which does feel thin to the hand straight away. More on that later, and we'll measure it obviously so you can see what I mean. But it's also got an Indian rosewood fingerboard, which looks lovely, doesn't it? It's got narrow tall frets, and they go as far as to give us the size, which is, I'm just going to refer to my notes there, 2.4 millimetre by 1.3 millimetre narrow tall frets. The nut, it's composite. I'm guessing that means plastic. That's all it says, composite. And this is from the Guild website, incidentally. It's a 24 3/4 inch scale length. So that's the Gibson scale length. And it's got a 12.5 inch radius fingerboard. Tuners on this are Guild's own, you know, these open ones, what do they call these? They call them the 18:1 ratio premium Guild vintage tuners. So I think they're quite attractive, aren't they? And they're certainly different, which is nice. Original. nice to see a bit of originality, isn't it? So this Starfire 1 comes in 4 colours. This one here, the cherry red, it comes in vintage walnut, emerald green, and a very fetching Pelham blue, which has got a Bigsby on it. It looks fantastic, that, doesn't it? And as you can see, it's got a really nice ivory binding that on the fingerboard here, it looks like you can see it's been hand finished, and it looks rolled actually. It's quite rolled. It looks really nice. There's nothing sharp on there at all. And it's sort of this binding goes round front and back. Lovely ivory, and it's got this great black detail. It's probably got a particular name, that, but I don't know what it is, so I'm going to call it detail. And it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. Looks great. Really nice. Okay, so before we go any further, let's weigh it, okay? £7 4 ounces, 3.29 kilos. So yeah, it's very comfortable guitar. So hardware, nickel plated. You've got obviously stop tailpiece and Guild's version of the ABR1 Tune-o-matic. Obviously got twin humbuckers, 2 volumes, 2 tones. The humbuckers are called Guild HB2 and they're Alnico 2 humbuckers. They've got coil splits on, so you've got these there, both of them split to single coil. And you've got a 3-way switch, obviously. So let's look at the pickup measurements. There you go, middle position, you've got 3.54 kilo ohms. And going up to the neck pickup, that reads 7.05 kilo ohms. And 3.65 Henrys is the inductance of that. And then if we switch over to the bridge pickup, that reads 7.12 kilo ohms and 3.68 Henrys. There you go. So I'm going to just see if I can get a reading when I split the coil. Yeah, okay, that's pretty much half. 3.56 kilo ohms on the split. And 7.12 on the humbucker, and same presumably then with the neck, 7.06 on the humbucker. 3.54 on the split. There you go. So now what we'll do is we'll get the strings off and we'll have a closer look, and we'll pop the pickups up and see what's going on under there. Right, let's get this hardware off. Well, that's tight. Ooh. Crikey. First time ever I've had a tailpiece that doesn't want to come off. It's come off that side, but not that side. What I'm going to try and do is spin the post round and freeze it. Here you go. Look at that. Didn't want to come off. That was a tight fit. Crikey. Is that identified as, what's that say? KDEP2. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, that weighs 75 grams, which is par for the course for the kind of heavier weight versions of that. Let's see if the bridge comes on. Yeah, it's a little bit easier. Here you go. And that's, it just says 1. It's got a little 1 stamped on it. You can see it's got those wires to hold the saddles in place. And that's 46 grams, quite like that. That's cool. What I like to do at this point is see if that's the same size as the Epiphone ones, because if you wanted to upgrade this hardware, presumably the most common stuff is Epiphone and Gibson stuff. So here is an Epiphone bridge that I prepared earlier, and it goes straight on. There you go. Let's see if the Faber Alley tailpiece goes on. Yeah, that goes on better than the original Guild one. There you go. Just FYI. Okay, so let's pop the pickups up and have a look inside. So the pickguard's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of got an Art Deco sort of style to it. That's how I would describe that. Quite a quirky little logo as well. I'm going to take this off because I think I'm going to have to get the pickups out. Okay, so here's the neck pickup cavity. It's a little bit rough and ready in there. There's a big hole there through which the wire can go through to the switch. There's also a hole there that doesn't seem to be being used for anything. So this pickup, we've seen this in a few guitars, Tokai, and it might have been the Gretsch. And there we've got our bridge pickup cavity. As you can see, there's plenty of access room there for you to stuff the pots through. So you don't need to poke them through the F-hole on this one. That pickup is properly identified as BH. Definitely the same as, I'm sure they're the same as the Tokai. It's a bit rough and ready. It almost looks like they've used an adze to chop that out. If you watch Curse of Oak Island, you'll know what I'm talking about. There you go. That's that. Let's have a quick look in the truss rod cavity. It's got a nice little 2-screw designed truss rod cover. There you go. Let's have see if we can get a shot down the tube. Yeah, bit messy. That's what it is. So just to while the strings are off, I can have a nice close look at the fret ends. The fretwork looks great. They look really tidy. I'll do some close-ups to drop in so you can see that. Nothing sharp, and as I say, it's kind of rolled on the edge there. You should be able to see that. Lovely rosewood fingerboard. 22 frets, 15, 17, 9, 22 frets, obviously. Here's the neck profile and measurements. Okay, here's the neck profile and measurements at the 1st fret. And there's the neck profile and measurements at the 12th fret. So it's quite flat up at the 1st fret. It's a little bit more rounded as you get down to the 12th. It's quite thin. It became comfortable very quickly. Okay, there's nothing more to see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the strings back. Well, I'm not going to put the strings back on. I'm going to put a new set of strings on. Yeah, new set of Ernie Ball regular slinkies, 10. Going to put them on, and then we'll plug it in, and we'll go through the controls, see what it sounds like. Cool. See you in a minute. So the rig today, I've got the Vox AC15C1 dimed again. So you've got this lovely chimey sound. That's the bridge pickup. No pedals on at all at the moment. I'll show you a shot of the board. I have got the Soul Food on the board again and the Boss SD1 Super Overdrive, but they're not on at the moment. They'll be on and off periodically, and I'll try and show you these shots if I'm treading on them at all, if I can, while I'm playing. But for now, they're not on. Dimed. That's the bridge pickup. On the neck pickup, and then together. It's quite a nice mix between the two. I think the neck's quite dark, isn't it? Certainly with this rig anyway. That doesn't really mean a great deal, because with a different rig and different EQs, it'll probably sound completely different. But for today's demonstration, this is what it sounds like. So I add the bridge pickup as well, and that livens it up. And then of course the bridge again, quite bright. So then if we split those, let's start with the neck again. Coil split, quite dramatic. Quite dramatic. Quite dramatic. Let's try that on the bridge. Yeah, you know, not massive volume drops, but I did discover if you try and turn the volume down, the volume controls are a little bit disappointing. Let's try that on the neck. Just muffles it straight away. Let's see if that's the same on the humbuckers. It just takes the high out straight away, doesn't it? Let's see if the tone controls work. Apparently not. There's like a switch. Let's try the neck. Oh man, That's disappointing. All you've got there is a dark sound or a bright sound. Oh well. Okay, well let's put all that into context and play something and see what it actually sounds like, shall we? Yeah. Brief history of Guild, incidentally. Guild was started in 1952 in New York City by a music store owner called Alfred Dronge. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's Dronge or Drong, D-R-O-N-G-E. Sorry, Alfred. But Alfred teamed up with ex-vice president of Epiphone at that time, George Mann, to form Guild. 1952, and I think they made their first guitar in New York in 1953. So they've been around, you know, since it all began, really, not quite as far back as, you know, some of the other big manufacturers anyway, but, you know, they've been there. And there's a certain amount of originality that you can see in this particular model. Being from the Newark Street collection, this is based on the vintage 50s and 60s, you know, models that they made. So yeah, things like those open tuners, you know, nice. It gives it nice, a bit of originality, you know, which is nice to see. may have noticed that I was playing this quite enthusiastically. That's one word for it. So when I get a guitar to review, I kind of try and think about who plays them, and then try and play something inspired by that person or those people. And with this, I just focused on Buddy Guy, because there's a YouTube video of him ripping the arse off one of these on stage, playing some blues stuff. So I thought, oh, that's all right. Gives me an opportunity to try and learn a couple of Buddy Guy licks. I learnt a couple and then quickly forgot them, and then decided to do my own thing, with mixed results. When I do stuff like that, I always forget that I'm not quite as good as I'd like to be. So a bit messy, but great fun. I mean, and there's some nice noises coming out of this. I hope you agree with that anyway. Well, look, I enjoyed myself, and that's really why I do this anyway. So I hope you did too. But this, yeah, what a good guitar, really. I'm surprised. I really was surprised, because when I got this, I had no expectations whatsoever, because I'd never even looked twice at one of these before. And obviously, as I said earlier, I got this in specifically for the 335 comparison, series that we're making. I wasn't massively keen on the finish. It's kind of, well, it is obviously it's laminated, because all these sort of archtop semi-hollow guitars have got laminated bodies. We know that. But it looks like the finish on the top looks like you can see the laminate work, if you like, rather than a sort of a plainer finish. So, but it's what it is. I mean, when I first looked at it, I thought, it looks cheap. The finish looks a little bit cheap. And that was my first impression. Oh, that looks a little bit cheap. And then I picked it up and I felt a really thin neck, and I thought, ooh, I don't know about this. And then I played it for 5 minutes, tuned it up, and I was into it, really. That was it. And now when I look at it, I still think I'm not a massive fan of that finish. The colour's all right, but the finish of that top kind of looks a bit fake. I think you know what I mean. So maybe one of the other colours would have been better for me. The Pelham Blue looks really cool, but that's got a Bigsby on it. I don't think they do it without a Bigsby. And I understand that the Pelham Blue one has got a maple top as opposed to mahogany. The other three colours, the emerald green and the vintage walnut, I think it was called, wasn't it? They're all mahogany. So that's that. But yeah, look, you can see I was getting into it. That says it all. That says it all. That says I enjoyed playing this guitar, and I enjoyed the sounds that were coming out of it. Not massively versatile on the tones. The push-pulls, I'm not a fan of push-pulls. I never will be, I don't think. This particular guitar, the knobs are quite slippy. And with push-pulls, you've really got to grip that quite hard. And, well, look, slipped off then. So don't expect to be doing any quick coil splitting while you're in the middle of a tune, because you've got to work at that. Unless you've got fingernails. I mean, if you've got fingernails, you can probably do that, but I haven't. So, fail on the knobs. The knobs don't work with the push-pulls, or the push-pulls don't work with the knobs. I like the knobs. I don't like the push-pulls anyway, so I'll probably leave them be anyway. Lovely, lovely finish. Actually, obviously it's a polyurethane finish, so it's tough and it's not going to mark and It's easier to make look good than nitrocellulose, obviously, chaps, isn't it? But you know, it's really got a nice feel to the fretboard edges. It's, you know, look, £430. It's not to laugh, eh? Really good alternative. Looks good. Looks big. I thought it looked really big on me when I was playing it. When I looked at the film back, I thought, crikey, either I'm tiny or it's a massive guitar. That was quite funny. I looked all hunched up, sort of playing it. But I was grooving, you know, so maybe that was it. Maybe I shrunk down into that groove. There you go. Well, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the Guild Starfire 1, and I'd thoroughly recommend it if you're looking for a 335 alternative. But don't go and buy it until you've watched our series. So I think next week I'm going to make part 2, which will be comparing this Guild Starfire 1 with the Epiphone ES335, the Gretsch Streamliner G something or other, and this Squier Classic Vibe Starcaster. So yeah, part 2 of a bunch of semi-hollows, alternatives, and a 335 to compare. So I think I'm going to do that next week. That's ES335 The Rivals Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1 yet, go and have a watch. And oh, I nearly forgot. You get a goodie bag with the Guild here as well, which is pretty cool, isn't it? How often do you get that amount of detail with affordable guitars? Now, and what's in it, shall we see? Well, I was actually quite delighted. Obviously, you get your truss rod Allen key. You get a Guild pick, medium. That's very cool. You get a Guild owner's manual and a couple of stickers. Pretty, a couple of bent stickers now, and some instructions for how to adjust the neck. Very cool. So there you go. That's the Guild Starfire 1. I've thoroughly enjoyed this guitar. I'm really pleased I got it. I've bonded with it. Definitely bonded with it. At the very least, it's highlighted some of the inadequacies in my playing. So, some bits I need to brush up on. I thank it for that. I thank it for that because it's inspired me to try things that I'm not necessarily capable of. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about making these films and playing all these guitars is there's a chance that over time my playing will improve. So that's got to be good for all of us, really. Okay, well, let's come back next week and let's see if I manage to get the Rivals Part 2 film made. And if not, it'll be something else. And hopefully it'll be worth coming back for anyway. So thanks again for watching today. And hopefully we'll see you again next week. All right. Cheers for now. Ta-da.